live.
Hi, welcome back to The Horizon. I'm Annalise. Today I'm joined by Meredith, Ben, and Porter. Today we're going to be talking about online classes and social media. How they relate, I'm not really sure, but we're going to be discussing our opinions on both topics.
Yes, and we'll figure out a way to merge the two.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can do it. You can merge pretty much anything together, no matter how weird it is.
Everything is related. It's all like in a little web.
Yes.
It's a small world we live in.
Porter, what are your opinions on social media?
The world is an illusion.
First thing I'm gonna say is fuck social media.
So true.
Even though I'm active on it in a way, but I have opinions like on what should be on social media and what shouldn't be on social media.
Okay.
Go on.
So I'll start by saying the way that I'm active on social media. The only thing that I really post on there is just cosplay photos. That's all I do is just post cosplay photos. But the thing that I cannot stand that people do on social media is when they just constantly post about what problems they have in their daily life. Like that annoys me when people do that. And most recently, like with the election, like I had friends that were posting, I voted for Kamala Harris because so-and-so. And I'm like, no offense, but I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it really drives me crazy.
I see. Can you elaborate more on like the political things? Like, do you not think social media should be used for political advertisements? Or...
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting.
Because like
Disinformation.
like the one thing that like I couldn't stand is when like celebrities were endorsing like political people on social media. I hated that, like
Yes.
especially Taylor Swift. And it's like, I don't give a crap about it.
I would like to speak about the Taylor Swift situation because there was a whole campaign that was AI generated by the right trying to make a false movement of Swifties for Trump. There were so many like AI generated images that a lot of news sources even took as real information, claiming that Taylor Swift was promoting Donald Trump and that her fan base was full of Trumpies and stuff.
She mentioned that in her post.
Yeah. And so I think that is a situation in which she should clear the air because she is such a big figure and that's where her fans go. And also I do want to say you don't have to follow people on social media. But so if you don't like what people post, you don't have to follow them, which is part of the great thing about.
See, I mainly
agency on
follow
that.
like certain people just because like I know them in real life.
Mhm.
But there have been times where I've been very tempted to unfollow them just because of the stuff they post on there.
Why don't you?
Because they would get pissed off at me.
Why do you care?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I guess I can just say.
Yeah, I do
I
that.
made a lot of unfollows.
I love blocking
last-
people.
Oh, it's so
The
satisfying
block is
blocking
like-
people. Like
yeah, that's what I just did a big unfollowing spree.
on my cosplay account, I've had to block so many people because they will like ask me like the randomest stuff like you can ever like imagine. And one person kept like spamming me, and I had to block them completely.
Here's my Ghostface costume. Someone says, "What are your thoughts on butter?"
Smooth like
And there was
butter.
one time someone sent me nude pictures on social media.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's an immediate block.
That's only happened to you once.
Yeah, it's only happened to me once.
Wow.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Great
Rookie
statistics.
numbers.
Can't tell you the amount of times that has happened to me.
That's
One
it. Well, it's probably different because you're a girl.
Yeah.
What's weird though, it was a guy that sent them to me though.
Oh,
Yeah,
How forward?
interesting.
yeah, it was a guy. He messaged me saying, "Hi, I want to show you something," and the picture was blurred, and I stupidly clicked on it.
Oh my
and
god.
Yeah,
Men are so silly.
that they are.
So one
Wait,
thing
I am a man. Dang it.
before we
Yes,
get
dog
too
on yourself.
far off, I was wondering is they're talking about celebrities and how like their statuses and things are taken a lot more into account. I'm wondering when that happened because singers and like actors, they're just people who are singers or actors. They aren't really involved in political things. Like when did this shift happen from
Yeah.
us seeing them as jesters to as these people to like model our lives off of? When did this shift happen and why?
I think a big part of that, I think there's some element of that has always been a thing of like, people would idolize their entire lives because they live these glamorous lifestyles and they want that for themselves. But I think a big part of that has shifted recently with like Gen Z and the internet. A lot of celebrities will just be like, here's my daily life. And, it looks so simple when in reality, they're spending thousands of dollars, to
Exactly.
fund their
Or it's fake.
lifestyle. Or it's fake.
There you
Just
go.
to make them look like they're normal and just like you, but like still at an elevated level. So I think people will take their lifestyles and then want to, have that for themselves. And then they also align that lifestyle with like their political mindset and their opinions on things. And basically they just want to be them because they see how happy they are on social media or like how great their life is, and they just want to emulate that for themselves, and they associate political beliefs along with that.
See, there's another thing with social media, like when you post like how happy you are, like I feel like that
Mhm.
can make some people like kind of get depressed, like if they see that in a way, because they'll wish that they had that lifestyle,
Can't
but they
confirm.
don't have it.
I have a confession to make. I used to have an account that was basically like, have you seen like those influencers who
Oh.
would just like document their lives? And
This might get me canceled. I hate influencers.
no, I agree. And
Like
I
vlogs?
don't want to, what?
Like vlogs?
Basically just like mini vlogs, like come to the gym with me or
Oh my
"I'm
God.
shopping today.
I hate.
Okay.
I'm gonna cringe
I-
thinking about that.
No, listen, I used to have an account like that because, or like I would show off my outfit of the day, even though it wasn't that interesting, because I was like, oh, well, these people are so cool. So like, I want to emulate their life. And like,
Well, how old
It'll-
were you when you did this?
I'm going to be so honest with you. I didn't stop doing this until last year.
Oh,
Well,
I was gonna say if
Um,
you were younger, it'd be understandable.
I
but
guess so. It was age like 16 to 18. I had this account.
yeah, I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Goodbye.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
I'm
enough.
a leave.
Sorry guys
No,
to
I'm
be
kidding.
cringe and embarrassing.
I'm kidding.
But a lot of that, I think, stemmed from an eating disorder I had where I was just, that was all I thought about. And then I saw these people who had like recovered. I don't think most of these people were actually recovered, if I'm going to be so
Now,
honest
see,
with you.
that's the thing with social media. It's filled with lies.
Filled with lies.
Filled with lies.
And so I kind of thought if I emulated these people, I would recover faster because they were recovered, but somehow they were all still skinny.
yeah, that says it
They
all
were
right
all
there.
still stick thin. And I was like, well, I can recover and be skinny at the same time. This is great. And that's just not the case. And these people will make you think that it is, and they'll take all your money and your attention to make you believe in these ideas that they have. And it really sucks.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it does. But hey,
I've come across a ton of posts that are all like, "Oh my gosh, look at how thin I am," or people say, "Oh, look how heavy I am," and they're obviously not,
See,
and they're just constantly doing that. And I don't.
you
There's
know,
just so much
it's-
dysmorphia you
you know
can
what's
get from
funny?
that.
You know what's funny is you bring that up. That reminds me of a TikTok trend that I saw people doing last year. They take the song "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" and they start it by putting pictures up of them, like how they looked in previous years, and they were like skinny and had muscle on them. But then they'd post how they look now, when the "Nothing Ever Lasts Forever" part would come up, and it would show that they got fat. Yeah. I don't know why that became a thing. It's another reason why I can't stand social media, because people post stuff like that.
Mhm.
Well, and like, unfortunately, social media is one of those things. Like, I think that people, people that made social media probably intended it to be like a good thing, like for people to connect and stuff. But there's such a dark part of it now where it's just it can really shoot you down, and it's really like a really dark place. It's messed up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree. Like, I really don't like social media either. Like, there's there's spans where I delete it, and I'm just like, I'm peaceful. But it can really be a dark place for people that have eating disorders, or really, it's really bad for the mental. I remember taking a class on it and doing research, and it really does psychologically affect people. It's really,
yeah.
really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Especially like people our age, and then people like younger kids that have access to it,
Oh,
like Roblox and all these
Now,
games.
see that like, how do younger kids get access to social media? What
Because
parents let
That's
their
a whole other topic.
What-
They're not ready for that.
Yeah.
For me, oh my god.
what kind of parents give their kids access to social media?
Upset.
Lazy.
Or like give them
Yeah,
an
there you
iPad, or give them a damn iPad.
Yep,
It's
see,
easy.
that-
iPad
that
baby,
too.
freaking iPad.
That too. Now I'm glad I never had an iPad until I was in fourth
Me
grade.
too.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't get a phone until I was in my teens.
Yeah,
My sister
neither
had
did
an
I.
iPad when she was young, and I kept telling them, stop giving her the tablet. Stop
Mhm.
giving her the tablet.
Yeah.
Because she would throw horrible tantrums about it, and she got access to all this stuff that, like Ed's World and all this stuff that I had no clue what it was. And like, I was in defense mode. Like, I'm like, girl, you should not be on this stuff. Like, I'm afraid this something gonna happen to you. And like, it was bad. It was so bad. But I will say though, she did get, like, she's smarter about it now. But like, and it did teach her a lot of stuff. But it's still scary that she has access to all that stuff, and she knows about all that stuff. But I guess she is more prepared now. But still, like, would I give my kid an iPad? No.
No, yeah. I'd say wait until like
Wait until you're
They're-
teens.
until they're teens,
Yeah.
because I was I think 11 when I first got an iPad.
Mhm. Like there's kids on VR chat, there's kids on
Yeah.
Roblox, there's kids
Oh yeah, I've
on-
seen
Mhm.
kids on VR before.
I
Yeah,
remember.
so-
Sorry.
you're fine.
Okay. Were you still saying something?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. I remember I got my first iPod when I was 9 years old, which is awful. My mom did not want it to happen. My grandma actually got it for me.
Like,
And-
could you like listen to music on it?
No, it was like an iPod 4 or Touch, iPod 5, I think.
Oh.
Yeah,
iPod
so it
Touch,
was like
okay.
basically just a phone without the
Like,
calling.
it's like an
Yeah.
MP3 player or something.
Yeah, like a little mini
Oh.
iPad. And so like I would play all these mobile games on it. I got Instagram when I was 9 years old against my mom's permission. I had Snapchat when I was 10. I've had social media for far longer than anyone should.
Yeah.
And I had it.
Yeah.
at
I've
a
like
very-
almost had it longer than I haven't had it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
bad.
Like I've had it at such a young age. Like, do any of you know what Omegle is?
Oh,
no.
oh yeah. Oh
I-
yeah.
Would get on Omegle with
Oh,
my
no.
friends when we were 12.
Oh
And
no.
it was really bad because there would be these men asking us to show them our bodies and our
Oh my.
it was disgusting and we did it. Like, sorry to like expose myself like that.
No,
I
it's
was
all good,
I
it's
was
all
a
good.
very cringy child.
No, don't-
Sorry,
we-
is this trauma?
No, you're
We-
My bad.
we were all cringy children. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry, I
What'd
didn't mean that in a traumatic way or anything, but like it's not just me. Like my friends and like lots of people would do these things and like the internet is not a safe place for children.
It's
and,
not. It's
No.
really not.
it's full of predators.
Mhm.
Exact
If
100%.
2024 to make that obvious. Have you seen
No.
all the sheer amount of YouTubers from getting exposed?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Tons.
Mhm.
You can
I'm
make a
honestly surprised I
list.
haven't been kidnapped or like killed or something, given my internet habits as a kid.
Mhm.
Not yet.
Oh. Are you coming for me?
Maybe. You saw me on
He
Halloween.
has the whole.
That was
He has the
actually
full
kinda
outfit.
scary.
You know.
I'm just messing with you.
You're gonna show up at my house. You're gonna drive really far.
On Thanksgiving, I'm showing up as the pilgrim from
Ah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not, even though I dress up as killers, I'm not an actual bad person.
Porter's such a good guy, guys.
Thank
he won't
you.
kill you.
We
Yeah.
watch this on the True Crime podcast when it becomes.
But I will say though, one thing that social media did for me though, like as a good thing, is it gave me something to do when I was stuck in online classes.
Oh god.
So true, guys. Oh
See,
my
I told
that's
you
a
there's a
long
way
segue.
to connect the two.
Mhm.
That's fair.
Scrolling
Yeah,
through
no, that's
TikTok
fair.
during your lectures.
100%.
I would
Yeah.
just turn on the lecture and just roll over and go back to bed.
Does anyone feel like they
I
learned from
I actually
online
saw someone
classes?
do that
No,
once
that
in
was the best
high
thing
school.
What is it?
Do you feel like you learn in an online class?
No.
Well,
So
No.
so multimedia journalism
mhm.
is my major with a fine arts minor. So a lot of my classes are like I'm working on the computer anyway. I'm in everything Adobe from
Mhm.
Photoshop, InDesign, all that kind of stuff. So it's like it would be frustrating to be sitting in a classroom. It'd be boring. Like it would
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to be in there. So it's more productive at home. I think I do learn because like it depends on how the teacher I have like one specific professor I'm thinking of. She sends out like videos and like teaches us like go step by step through what we're doing that week.
Mhm.
Now,
And
see,
it is-
that's the best
It
way
is
to do
the
it,
most
I think.
it's like a 20-minute video breaking down. Sometimes if it's a more complicated thing, she just adds in like 4 different 20-minute videos and it is the most productive thing I do all week. Like
See, I had a
I love
teacher
it.
that did that. Even if you were sick, he would still give you recorded lessons that you could watch.
that's nice.
And I feel like that's the best way to do online classes is to have a video.
Yes.
But
Now
unfortunately, some don't do that and they just make you read. And that
Mhm.
does not, I do not learn that way at all just by
Mhm.
reading.
and discussion posts and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I would be fine if I never did a discussion post. ever
Discussion
again.
post?
I hate them.
I
I hate 'em
understand
too.
what they're like meant to be. Like they're meant to be like class discussion,
Right.
like we're having right now, but they don't function like that.
No.
Nobody actually replies to each other and like has a discussion. Like you're
Hello.
forced to
And
have
you must
replies.
Hey
Yeah,
there.
that's
See,
where
I
Great
feel like
discussion post.
the
Like
dis-
I would never say
Meredith,
that.
I agree with you on that.
Like,
Like
we
your
would never-
contribution to the post just makes so much sense, and I
We would
really
never
just
speak like
That
that.
is
No, it's so
exactly how they
infuriating.
go. That is exactly
I
how they go.
agree on page 50.
like
And
we
I-
don't
I will
talk
con-
like
I will-
that.
I'm going to confess that's usually what I do on discussion
Yeah.
posts if I have to reply to someone.
I will say in some of my discussion posts lately, I just talk like how I would talk. And if the professor gets mad at me, that's on them. I'm like,
Screw
sorry,
them.
but I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. And
that's the
Well,
whole
that
point.
is
That's the whole
isn't that
point.
what you're supposed to do on a discussion
Yeah.
Making
post?
discussion to a real
And
discussion.
I know
Yeah.
what you mean. There's some
Yeah.
professors that want you to be like, well, hey there. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
and
they
I
want
hate
you to
it.
be so like professional and structured and
Mhm.
on a reply that's supposed to be like 150 words. Why do I
Exactly.
have to have a word count on a reply?
Exactly. Like if I
Yeah.
get my point across, I get my point across. And I have this one class where every week I have to do discussion posts that is a minimum of 1,500 words.
Oh,
Oh my
Lord.
God.
Yeah.
What?
See,
I feel sorry
It's
for
awful.
you.
it's awful. After I read 4 chapters that are 50 to 70 pages long a week, along with like 2 to 3 videos, this is a 3 credit hour class. And I'm spending like 12 hours a week on this class with the replies that I have to do 3 replies that are each 150 words minimum to 3 different people with 3 different questions. I'm like, this
I-
is one
I
class.
feel sorry for you.
What class is this?
German history, which is
Oh.
super interesting.
That does sound
I
interesting.
I do like learning about it, but I
I'm also
can't
biased.
keep all that information in my head.
I guess they feel like you have like a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Especially the thing is, I feel like I'm the only person in that class actually doing what is asked of me because it's such a high ask, of these students. So then I'm replying to people. And like I said earlier today, somebody asked me what the bombing of Pearl Harbor had to do with World War II. Like,
Like,
It's just what brought the
lot.
USA into the war.
Yeah.
Exactly.
like if you aren't understanding concepts like that, like if a lot of these people aren't understanding concepts like that, how am I supposed to have an intellectual discussion with you?
Exactly.
I will say though, like I want to piggyback off of something real quick. The online classes though, I will say I like them better as in like college as opposed to high school because
Mhm.
high school they were like you had to wake up,
I
get
was
on.
Yeah,
Gonna
that,
say
that.
that was
I was
that
gonna
was
say that.
hard.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
I will say I kind of had it a little better though because I had to go across the bridge every day, like to go in person. So I'd have to wake up at 6:30 to get over there.
Oh my
But
gosh.
with online classes, I didn't have to wake up till 7:30. So
You lived an hour away from school?
no, I live 20 minutes away, but I had to get up, get ready, and then get out the
Oh.
door because of
Oh, I see.
traffic.
I see.
And we had to be there by 7:50, I think.
Ugh.
So it was a haul.
Mm.
But hey, with
I-
online classes, I had it a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally in high school, like I did all my work and like I had good grades and I would just sleep in class.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever see someone like accidentally leave their microphone unmuted or accidentally leave their camera on?
Camera on,
Yes.
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 Both.
I've done that.
Oh, you've actually done that?
Yes,
I was so scared.
I actually have left my microphone unmuted once, but thankfully I didn't say or play anything on my phone. I was just
Mhm.
typing, and one person said, "Mute your microphone." I was like, "Oh shit!" So I muted it.
I had a discussion, like a breakout group at one point for one of my classes, and I was at the gym, just like, watching my class, didn't think I'd have to do anything at the
Mhm.
time. And we had like breakout groups, and they were like, solve this statistics problem. I said, hey guys, like, I'm going to be so real with you. I'm at the gym right now. I can't do this. Like, it was my senior year of high school, and I only had 3 classes my senior year. So I did not care at all. So-
Oh, did you have block scheduling?
No, so we had 7 periods a day, but you could do dual credit. And what I did, I graduated early, and I did a ton of dual credit classes and AP classes. So my senior year of high school, because I also did a bunch of stuff in middle school because I did like this program where you did your classes online and you could work at your own pace because I was really, really good at math. So I was done with calculus by my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
I had to
Ooh.
retake it because they didn't want it to count for credit because no one at the junior high was qualified to teach calculus. So it was like a whole process.
I'm gonna use statistics.
I love statistics actually. I actually love
Wow.
math so much.
Only thing I was
Um,
good
I
at.
cannot relate.
Sorry guys.
I can relate a little bit.
Ugh.
There were some categories in math I like and some I did not like. I full on hated geometry.
I like geometry. It's
Geometry
fun.
was the only math I was not good at.
Still a
my-
hard pass for me.
You guys are weird.
See, I could do algebra 2, and college algebra, but I could not do geometry.
Have you guys done calculus?
Nope.
I
Oh.
tried it and immediately switched to stats.
Calculus is my favorite math.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like my high school classes because I did have geometry in high school, and high school online classes, I was so much more tempted to cheat than I am in college ones. College
Mhm.
ones, I'm fine. Like I'll
Yeah.
read I will read whatever I have to read. I'm gonna think literally with my own
Because
brain.
you're paying for it.
That, but I don't know what it was about. I think it's because the teachers didn't care. So why would I
Mhm.
care? So I would just like,
Here's the thing though, like with some of the teachers in high school, some of them kind of cheated when putting their tests together. They just find them on Quizlets and
exactly.
then turn them
So,
into tests.
so
Yeah.
it was like, why
Yeah.
can't I just go look up what you copy and pasted?
Exactly.
I'm
Mhm.
going to.
Yeah. I will say though, some teachers do, like there was one time my junior year of high school, one of the teachers actually managed to catch people cheating on an assignment because she did find it online, but she switched two of the questions. And because she did that, she managed to catch a whole lot of people cheating.
Mm.
I was not one of them, to make it clear. I wasn't.
See, the only reason I managed to pass stats was because my teacher didn't care. He was way too self-conscious about like keeping his job that he'd have everyone pass just because if everyone failed because he wasn't a good teacher, to be honest, then that looks really bad on him. So he would constantly like bump people up for no
Mhm.
reason.
Just to keep his job. huh?
Yeah.
I know what teacher you're talking about, I think.
Probably.
Mhm.
It's not. It's like it's easy online, but like he gives out a lot of homework, and like some things click and some things don't. He'll be like,
Mm.
at least how you like, can you help me out?
I don't know how much of stats I remember. I took it back in 22.
Uh-huh.
So,
Like it's not horrible, but it was either like actual math or statistics. And I was like,
Mhm.
give me statistics.
yeah.
It wasn't. It's not bad. It's just it's a lot of work. Like, oh my god.
I know at least like, so I'm a German major as well as digital media, communications, journalism, all that kind of stuff. So learning German online has been the worst experience in my entire life.
I couldn't imagine.
Professor
only
Hutchins, if
imagine.
you watch this, I'm so sorry to say this to you, but I think you're a great teacher. It's just the online format is not great. I don't know German. I can't speak German. I can barely read it. I can barely write it. And most of the time when I do, it is not anywhere near accurate. I am probably at an A1 level max.
Yeah, you're
I have been
part German.
studying. I have been studying German since I was 14 years old, and I'm now 19.
Did you take it in
And-
high school?
yeah.
So
And I learned a lot in high school. My German teacher was actually both an English and a German teacher, so she was really good at explaining like the differences between English and German and like how they relate to each other, and helped me learn the language a lot. But my senior year, I did German online. It was not good for me. And then again, I came here and they don't offer German in person, so I was doing it online. And now, like, I'm in these advanced level classes where you're expected to know how to read and speak and write German, and I just don't.
There's like a hole missing or like a gap.
Yeah. So, and I'm about to graduate with my degree in it, and I'm still not going to know German.
German majors
Or
aren't
the
really
Rosetta
German.
Stone.
That's curious.
Yeah.
I experienced that in the gap in my junior year to senior year from like, so I took French throughout high school. My junior year we were online, so basically we were doing stuff, and how I would do it would it was easy to read off of something and then like record it. If I didn't do it right, I could re-record it.
hmm
When I went back my senior year, I literally lost every single like all of the information I had in my brain. Did not know how to speak French anymore.
That's me now.
Yeah.
With because I took Spanish in high school, and I actually did the best out of every student in the class. But now I do not. All of that knowledge is gone.
Mhm.
Pushing your subconscious. It's like.
I'm still okay in German. I mean, went to Germany, I had no problems, but that's just me. But I am told I'm very, very forceful because there's this thing called modals,
Mhm.
and I use modals all the time because it's the closest thing to like English.
Yeah.
So it's very, very like forceful though whenever you talk though. So I'm just a very forceful person in German, apparently very blunt and demanding. But it's also Germany, so it's not too unusual.
yeah.
I will say one thing about online classes. Even, like I know we've all like kind of said we don't like online classes. One class that I actually recommend doing online is public speaking. I
took
recommend
it in
doing
I feel
that.
like that defeats the point.
Well,
Is it easier?
Exactly. Yeah, it's easier because you have to record yourself giving your speech.
Oh, I
and
would hate that more than.
well, here's
than
the
in
thing:
person.
if you mess up, you can go back and refilm it.
Mhm.
But
That's
here's
true.
here's the thing, though: you do have to get like four adults watching now. But yeah, that's the one class that I actually preferred doing online because I could just go back, and it was also less like I had less anxiety.
I actually like my online classes. I just don't like it when they give out way too much work to where it's like not doable when like you have other classes.
Mhm.
Like I took public speaking my freshman year, and it was in person, and I had the best professor ever. And she would critique you over like little stuff, like mannerisms and stuff like that. But that was mainly it. But I passed that class with an A. I'd take it again. I loved her so much.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just depends on people. Like I think it depends on your experience. But there is definitely a difference between like high school video or online courses as opposed to like college courses that are online.
100%.
I really like my courses. There's some that I didn't like.
I prefer having the option of both, but that option seems to be disappearing.
Yeah.
It is.
People are shifting
Yeah.
more and more online.
Yeah,
which is-
which I kind
Is
of
that because of,
hope they
is
don't.
that a professor thing, or is it a student preference thing, or is that both?
It's a
I feel like
campus
it's
thing.
I feel like it's kind of both.
It is. I
Yeah.
think.
Because there are some students, like one of my cousins actually, he did not want to go back in person whenever like everyone was starting to get over COVID. Like he wanted to stay online.
Mhm.
And his mom told him that's not going to be an option. And he wasn't happy.
Interesting.
Yeah, he wanted to stay online.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't either. I cannot learn online.
I think
can-
so many people have kind of lost their social skills, and that's a big reason why people don't want to go back in person. Which I mean, I can say the same. Like after I used to be very extroverted before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and all of a sudden my anxiety was worse than it ever had been before. Like I had to start taking anti-anxiety medication because of how bad my anxiety got from not being around people, and then suddenly going back into that environment and not knowing how to function. And it's taken me a long time to get back to where I feel comfortable speaking to people, like even in like a small group like this. And I think a lot of people feel the same way, but they don't know how to face that anxiety anymore, or like how to, kind of overcome that. And so they just want to avoid it, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. People should do what's best for them. I don't want to dog on anyone. But like, I think that's a really big problem too, of people not knowing how to integrate back into these in-person classes.
I think sometimes you just have to like. I definitely can relate to every single thing you just said.
Yeah.
So like, I almost had to like force myself. Like this class, like alone was like, for a little bit was like it took a second. Like even sometimes, some days I just like can't even speak up. So it's like sometimes I just like just had to like force myself back into all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely relate to every single thing you just said on that.
Well, like our classmate Jordan, he said that this was his first. Was it his first?
It's his first year being in
Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
being in person
Since
Everything
high
else was
school.
online. And
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Go on.
I
Sorry.
don't know what grade he is. I forgot. Like what
I think he's a senior.
is he?
Geez, he was online for that long.
Wow.
I mean, my only in-person class has been digital media practicum. I mean, next year I have next semester I have a research class that's in person, but that's it. Nothing else was offered in person.
I know most of mine are my minor, like all my art classes that require you to be in a studio for a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
That's where most of my in-person classes come in.
Yeah.
Similar story here. All my major classes have been, with a few exceptions, but almost all of them have been online ones, and all my minor stuff or just requirement fill-in ones
Mm-hmm.
are the in-person ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I am. It's interesting.
That seems to be the case. Like a lot of the journalism department is just online, which
That it is.
I think we don't have very many faculty members. I think
Yeah.
is a big problem.
Yeah, that is part of the problem is just not enough faculty members. I think some of like the online professors like don't even live in this area, and that's
Yeah,
why they're
we've-
online.
Yeah, we've had a lot of
I had
like
a
visiting
professor that
people.
lived all over, like went to was at the Kokomo University. I was like,
Yeah.
I think one professor I had last semester, I think she lived in Bloomington.
Yeah, a lot of them are from different IU campuses too, which is
Mhm.
interesting.
Like I don't know. I feel like some things should be like required in person, but also like part of me is like happy that we are given the online thing or the hybrid thing because
Mhm.
sitting so long in a class like with tons of people,
Mhm.
that would drive me crazy because I don't learn like that. And like if you watch movies and everything and like the stereotypical like you go in a class, there's a bunch of people, there's only one professor, a big board, and it's like I would freak out.
And my
Yeah.
in my case, it would be who the people are.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing too. Because I originally went to Purdue, and my Calc 3 class.
You betrayed them.
Well, I'm applying. I'm trying to go back, guys.
Oh, you're betraying us.
Sorry. Anyways, my first class I ever went to, I walked in. There were 500 people in this lecture hall, and it was the most, including my ex-boyfriend. Sorry, I just had to mention that. How do you find me? Anyways,
Stalker.
let me get back. The thing is, he graduated early too. Went to the same school. We were two of three people who went to Purdue that year. Stalker. Anyways,
Very real thing. It's
it
really
was the
scary.
scariest
It
thing
is.
ever. And it was one guy who, and I'm not saying that just because you don't speak English very well, that means you are less intelligent. But it makes it a lot harder for students who speak English to learn. And so I had this guy talking who did not speak English very well, made it very hard for us to learn. I'm in a big class full of people who I don't know, and I am a year and a half younger than everybody else. It was the most terrifying experience in my entire life, and learning in classes like that just does not work for me, and I think for a lot of other people as well. So I think a big thing with like in-person classes is that we need to keep the class sizes small to help people learn better.
That I feel like is very important.
I
My
have a
problem,
comment
like
on that.
one thing that I was stuck with the people like I was in classes with is all of my years in high school. I was stuck with guys that kept acting like kindergartners.
Yeah.
That was my problem with in person. It drove me crazy.
Well, like I feel like though some college courses are in person though, they are timed like crazy amounts. Like I remember I took anatomy and it was 1 to 4.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my.
And not another, but some professors, they have this like monarch, like some kind of like not obviously like I'm this top tier, like this professor that I had, she wouldn't change her writing, like because she wrote full on cursive, and I can't read cursive because they took that away from me. I can only sign my name. That's it.
That's
I
all.
can't read it.
I learned how to write in cursive and I still can't read it.
Exactly, and like she like full on beautiful cursive writing, and I'm like, can you change it please? And she's like, that's just how I write. I'm like, okay. I
Wow.
remember I called her Mrs. or Miss, and she was like, "It's Doctor," and I was like, "Oh."
Whoa,
That was
okay.
here at our beautiful IU Southeast. I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
I'm gonna be honest. If I spent that long of time and money working towards a PhD, I'd want to be called doctor too.
I've made that same statement before.
It could be more nicer. Like
That's
dang,
fair. That's
girl.
fair. I'm sure it was all in how she said it, but
Oh yeah, she was. I promise. She was an older lady too. So she
Which
was
class was
Oh
this?
yeah, if she was an older lady,
class
then that
was this?
says it all.
It was anatomy.
Anatomy.
The topic is social media and online classes. Like our
We're
thoughts
kind
on
of
them.
shifted to online
Yeah,
classes.
we talked about social media at first, and then we shifted to online classes.
what's your take on social media?
I actually think in the near future there will be a huge wave of kids and I know young adults saying you should get off of this. I really think there will be I think it will be very popular amongst our age group and younger to drop all the social media and go off the grid like people have done, since the beginning of time. I think that might happen soon. I think
I
people
see.
will finally have enough of the FOMO and all the stuff, the great mind games that people play on social media. I think everyone's gonna have enough of it.
I see.
What?
How do you feel about online classes?
They're easy to cheat.
That they are, especially in high
So
school.
easy to cheat. I definitely think that actually, well, some of them are actually a lot harder than others. I could go on and on.
Are you an avid cheater?
Huh?
Are you an avid cheater?
How
How would you know?
Some classes.
Trying to expose him.
No,
I'm a journalist. I'm here to expose.
Whoa, okay.
Am I an avid cheater? I don't cheat on the classes that I don't. That I care about.
Okay,
Like
that
yoga,
that's understandable.
What makes you care about a class?
like yoga. I don't cheat on yoga.
I would
Yoga?
I would
Yoga
so
class?
cheat on yoga. I don't know how, but I find a way.
You find a way to
Downward
do
dog?
it.
No, I'm doing upward dog today.
No, that's a good person.
I was about to say what?
No.
Online yoga.
Online classes should be
I can only
a thing
imagine
of the
that.
past. Like, I really do miss pre-COVID IUS. I miss the way it felt being on campus. Like before COVID happened, IUS felt like a college. IUS felt like a university. It really did feel like I was at school. Like I was in college. I was in a big boy school. That's how it felt as a freshman here. but when COVID happened and then I came back, something just wasn't the same. Just didn't feel. It didn't feel the same.
We're
That's
dead.
fair. One point I brought up though was like some of my classes, like my graphic design classes that are like all Photoshop, all InDesign. I'd be livid if I had to come in here and sit and just like work on that when I could definitely be more productive at home and like.
Yeah.
But
That-
that's like
those are the-
that's
that-
one small case. So
That's
yeah.
that's an example of a class that, like I wouldn't like cheat on because like
Well, you can't. But
graphic design and that type of stuff. Photoshop is like something that I personally am very passionate about.
I
So
feel-
would, like, pay
I feel like that's
attention.
something that you can have fun in also, and so I feel like you wouldn't want to cheat on it if
yeah,
it's something you'll
I'm gonna
have
be
fun
so
in.
honest. You
Yeah.
actually
But for, like,
are unable to cheat.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
also
wish you
I don't
could.
know I don't know how you could. The only way you could cheat is just have someone else do it for you.
if you have a class
Yeah.
called
Or AI generation.
Yeah,
empirical
that too.
research- If you have a class called empirical research of blah 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 communications, would you pay close attention in that class?
Yes, research is great.
I have a class.
For me with
boxes,
research,
so
it
I have a
depends
class
on
like that, I
what
don't
you're
pay attention in.
researching.
If the title is boring, if the name of the class is boring, I know I'm whipping out ChatGPT for that one.
Interesting.
Annalise's reaction to
I'm
it.
sorry, this is making me so sad. I love research.
For me, research
Depends
just
on the
depends.
research.
It just depends on what I'm researching.
Yeah.
If it's Europe, I gotcha.
Yes.
You get to choose what you research?
If it's economics, no thank
Am I
you.
close?
No, it's not like that. Well, actually, the final is actually going to be really fun because this is a class that I had to take for my degree since I'm graduating this semester. At the end of the semester, I had to take it to get the last credit for my degree and whatever.
Mhm.
The class is meant for incoming graduates of this degree. For some reason, I'm taking it on the last leg of my semester. So the final is sort of like meant for the next installation of that class for, progressing students. So like when you get to the advanced version of the class, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like how you take like introduction to blah, blah, blah class. and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
take
yeah.
Intermediate and then you take advanced.
Mhm.
This is like the introduction, but for some reason I'm not doing it in the intermediate or the.
Okay.
It's just required for your degree.
Yeah.
To do
it's
the
just like
intro.
a thing I need for my degree. So the final, he made it to where it would actually serve me better than to just have a unfinished, because the final is supposed to be like a part of a final or a part of something bigger that would be used down the line. But since I can't do that, he is going to let me make a video research project about the local Louisville scene, and I get to like go and interview local bands and like document what's going on. And I get to put together this like very cool, interesting video with interviews and stuff like that.
Oh, fun.
And that'll be used for other things, whenever I can find something for it.
One last thing I wanted to say about online classes, real quick, before we wrap this episode up, is that I do think online options are great for accessibility. I know not everyone can get to class every day. I remember I literally had to leave Purdue because I could not get to classes every day because it was very inaccessible there, walking around campus. So I think online classes are a great option for that. But
Some people don't even show up to online classes on time.
exactly.
It's a skill.
SMH. Imagine being able-bodied and being late to class. Yikes. Anyways, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Horizon Podcast. I hope you learned something new, and be sure to tune in on Wednesday. Everybody say bye now. Bye.
Bye now.
And fuck social media.
Yeah.
Have you ever